The courtroom was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone's eyes were locked on Officer Lily Bennett as she stood in the witness box. Her police uniform crisp and perfect. Her voice was steady, confident, almost too confident. "Your Honor," she said, looking straight at the judge, "I saw Noah Peterson with my own eyes. He was selling illegal drugs on the corner of 5th and Main Street. I watched him hand a plastic bag to another man and take money. There's no doubt in my mind." Noah Peterson sat at the defendant's table, his hands clasped together so tight his knuckles had turned white. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His lawyer, a young public defender named Marcus Rivera, kept scribbling notes, but even he looked worried. This was bad, really bad. The prosecutor, a tall man with slick back hair named Richard Hayes, smiled like a cat who just caught a mouse. "Officer Bennett, how close were you to Mr. Peterson when this alleged drug deal happened?" "About 15 feet, Lily answered without hesitation. "I had a clear view, perfect lighting. I've been a police officer for 8 years, and I know what I saw." Noah's heart pounded in his chest like a drum. This wasn't true. None of it was true. He'd never sold drugs in his life. He was a social worker who helped kids stay off the streets. But who would believe him over a cop? "Officer Bennett," the prosecutor continued, "did you recover any evidence from Mr. Peterson?" "Yes, sir. When I arrested him, I found a bag of white powder in his jacket pocket. The lab confirmed it was cocaine." The courtroom erupted in whispers. People shook their heads. Some looked at Noah with disgust, others with pity. His mother, sitting in the front row, had tears streaming down her face. Noah wanted to scream. He wanted to jump up and tell everyone that Lily Bennett was lying through her teeth, but his lawyer had told him to stay calm, to let the system work. But the system felt like it was crushing him. Marcus Rivera stood up. "Your Honor, I'd like to cross-examine the witness." The judge, an older man with gray hair named Judge Thompson, nodded. "Proceed." Marcus approached the witness stand. "Officer Bennett, you said you were 15 feet away when you witnessed the supposed drug deal?" "That's correct." "And the lighting was perfect?" "Yes." "What was Mr. Peterson wearing that day?" Lily didn't miss a beat. A black jacket, blue jeans, and white sneakers. Marcus looked at his notes. "Officer Bennett, according to the arrest report you filed, you said Mr. Peterson was wearing a red hoodie and black pants." The courtroom went quiet again. Lily's face twitched, just for a second. I must have made a mistake in the report. I was writing several reports that day, but I definitely remember what happened." "A mistake?" Marcus pressed. "You're certain about everything else, but you can't remember what the man was wearing?" "Objection!" The prosecutor jumped up. "The officer has already explained the discrepancy." "Sustained," Judge Thompson said. "Move on, Mr. Rivera." Marcus looked frustrated, but continued. "Officer Bennett, where exactly did you find the drugs on Mr. Peterson?" "In his left jacket pocket." "His left jacket pocket," Marcus repeated. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely sure." Marcus walked to his table and picked up a document. "Your Honor, this is the evidence log from the arrest. According to this document, which Officer Bennett herself signed, the drugs were found in Mr. Peterson's right jacket pocket, not his left." Lily's face went pale. The confident smile disappeared. It was his right pocket. "I misspoke." "You misspoke," Marcus said, "just like you made a mistake about his clothing. Officer Bennett, are you lying about what happened that day?" "Objection!" The prosecutor was on his feet again. Counsel is badgering the witness. "Sustained. Mr. Rivera, watch your tone." But Marcus had planted seeds of doubt. People in the courtroom were murmuring. Even the judge looked skeptical now. Noah felt a tiny flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, people were starting to see through Lily's lies. Then Lily did something unexpected. She looked directly at Noah, and her eyes went cold. "Your Honor, I need to add something to my testimony. After I arrested Mr. Peterson, he threatened me. He said if I testified against him, I'd regret it. He said he had friends who could make problems for me and my family." Noah's mouth fell open. "That's not true," he shouted, jumping to his feet. "I never said that. I never threatened anyone. Mr. Peterson, sit down. Judge Thompson banged his gavel. One more outburst, and I'll hold you in contempt. Marcus grabbed Noah's arm and pulled him back into his seat. Don't say another word, he whispered urgently. The prosecutor was smiling again. Your Honor, this outburst only proves Officer Bennett's testimony about the defendant's threatening behavior. He clearly has anger issues. Noah's head was spinning. This was a nightmare. Lily Bennett was making up lies, one after another, and the whole system was eating it up. She was going to destroy his life, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Judge Thompson looked tired. We'll take a 15-minute recess. When we return, I'll hear closing arguments. He banged his gavel. As people started filing out, Noah sat frozen in his chair. His lawyer tried to reassure him, but the words sounded hollow. His mother came up and hugged him, crying into his shoulder. I didn't do it, Mom, Noah whispered. I swear I didn't do any of this. I know, baby. I know. Lily Bennett walked past their table, and for just a second, she glanced at Noah. There was something in her eyes, something dark and satisfied. She was enjoying this. Noah felt his blood run cold. This woman wasn't just lying. She was deliberately trying to destroy him. But why? He'd never even met her before that day. What had he done to deserve this? The 15 minutes felt like 15 seconds. Soon, everyone was back in their seats. The prosecutor stood up to give his closing argument. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is simple. We have a dedicated police officer with 8 years of service who witnessed a crime and did her duty. She arrested the defendant, found drugs on him, and now she's here telling the truth. The defense wants you to focus on small inconsistencies in paperwork, but those are just human errors. The facts are clear. Noah Peterson is a drug dealer who deserves to go to prison. It felt like a punch to Noah's gut. When the prosecutor sat down, Marcus stood up for his closing argument. Your Honor, this case isn't about small inconsistencies. It's about reasonable doubt. Officer Bennett couldn't remember what Mr. Peterson was wearing. She couldn't remember which pocket she found the drugs in, and now she's claiming he threatened her, something that never appeared in any police report until today. These aren't small mistakes. These are signs that something is very wrong with this testimony. Marcus spoke with passion, but Noah could see in the judge's eyes. Judge Thompson wasn't convinced. The system believed the cop, not the accused. When Marcus sat down, Noah's hands were shaking. This was it. His life was about to end. Judge Thompson cleared his throat. I've heard both sides. This is a bench trial, so the decision is mine alone. I'll need a few minutes to consider the evidence. Those few minutes felt like hours. Noah's heart was racing so fast, he thought it might explode. His mother squeezed his hand. His lawyer stared at his notes. Then Judge Thompson spoke. I've made my decision. Based on the testimony of Officer Bennett and the evidence presented, I find the defendant. Your Honor, wait. Noah stood up suddenly. His lawyer tried to pull him down, but Noah shook him off. Please, just wait 1 second. Mr. Peterson, I warned you about outbursts. I know, Your Honor, but you need to see something. Noah reached into his jacket pocket, the same jacket he'd been wearing the day of his arrest. Officer Lily Bennett's eyes went wide. Her face turned sheet white. Noah pulled out a leather wallet and flipped it open. Inside was a shiny gold badge that caught the light. The entire courtroom gasped. It was an FBI badge, and underneath it was an identification card with Noah's photo and the words, Special Agent Noah Peterson, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Undercover Operations Division. The courtroom exploded into chaos. Judge Thompson's gavel banged over and over. Order, order in this court. But nobody was listening. People were standing up, pointing, shouting questions. Reporters in the back were frantically typing on their phones. Noah's mother looked completely confused, her mouth hanging open in shock. Officer Lily Bennett stumbled backward, gripping the witness stand like she might fall over. Her face had gone from white to red to white again. That's not possible, she whispered. The prosecutor, Richard Hayes, was frozen in place, his fancy suit suddenly looking too tight. Your Honor, we had no information about this. This changes everything. It certainly does, Judge Thompson said, his voice sharp as a knife. He stared at Noah with a mixture of confusion and anger. Special Agent Peterson, you've been sitting in my courtroom for 3 days letting this trial proceed. Why didn't you reveal your identity sooner? Noah took a deep breath. His hands had stopped shaking now. He felt calm for the first time in days. Your Honor, I couldn't reveal who I was until I was absolutely certain about what was happening. I needed to see how far this would go. How far it would go, the judge demanded. Noah turned to look at Lily Bennett. She was shaking now, her confident police officer mask completely gone. Your Honor, I'm part of an FBI task force investigating police corruption in Ohio. For the past 6 months, we've been tracking a group of officers who've been planting evidence on innocent people and lying in court to get convictions. The courtroom erupted again. Judge Thompson banged his gavel so hard it sounded like a gunshot. Everyone be quiet or I'll clear this courtroom. The noise died down to whispers. Noah continued. 3 months ago, Officer Lily Bennett arrested me on false charges. She claimed she saw me selling drugs. She claimed she found cocaine in my pocket. But, Your Honor, I was never selling drugs. I was standing on that corner as part of my investigation. We'd received tips that Officer Bennett was targeting innocent black men in that neighborhood. This is insane. Lily shouted from the witness stand. He's lying. He's making this up to get out of trouble. Am I? Noah reached into his other pocket and pulled out a small device. It looked like a pen, but it wasn't. This is a recording device. I've been wearing it every day since my arrest. I recorded every conversation with Officer Bennett, including the moment she arrested me. The prosecutor looked like he might throw up. Your Honor, I had no knowledge of any of this. The police department brought me this case. I trusted their evidence. We'll get to you later, Mr. Hayes, Judge Thompson said coldly. He looked at Noah. Play the recording. Noah connected the device to a speaker system in the courtroom. His lawyer, Marcus, helped set it up. Marcus was smiling now. He'd been kept in the dark too, but he could see justice was about to be served. The recording started playing. At first, there was just street noise, cars passing, people talking in the distance. Then Lily Bennett's voice came through, crystal clear. Noah Peterson? Yes, that's me. Noah's voice answered. Is something wrong, officer? Turn around and put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for drug distribution. What? I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just standing here. Don't make this difficult. There was a pause, then the sound of handcuffs clicking. Well, what do we have here? What are you talking about? This bag of cocaine in your pocket. You're going away for a long time. That's not mine. You just put that there. I felt you put something in my pocket. Sure, that's what they all say. Tell it to the judge. The recording stopped. The courtroom was silent as a graveyard. Lily Bennett's legs gave out. She collapsed into the witness chair, her face buried in her hands. I can explain, she whispered, but nobody believed her anymore. Judge Thompson's face was red with fury. Bailiff, arrest Officer Bennett immediately. Charge her with evidence tampering, perjury, and false imprisonment. 2 bailiffs moved toward Lily. She didn't resist. She just sat there, crying, as they put handcuffs on her wrists, the same kind of handcuffs she put on Noah 3 months ago. Your Honor, Noah said, there's more. Officer Bennett isn't working alone. Everyone in the courtroom leaned forward. This story was getting bigger by the second. Noah pulled out a folder from his lawyer's briefcase. Over the past 6 months, Officer Bennett has arrested 43 people on drug charges. We've been investigating 30 of those cases. In every single one, the person arrested was a black man between the ages of 20 and 40. In every case, Officer Bennett claimed to witness drug deals. In every case, she claimed to find drugs on the suspects. And Judge Thompson asked, though his expression said he already knew the answer. And we believe at least 25 of those people were innocent. They're sitting in prison right now for crimes they didn't commit. The courtroom erupted into chaos again. People were shouting, crying, demanding answers. Noah's mother was sobbing, not from sadness anymore, but from relief and anger mixed together. Richard Hayes, the prosecutor, stood up shakily. Your Honor, if what Special Agent Peterson is saying is true, then I prosecuted innocent people. I've sent innocent people to prison. He looked genuinely horrified. I trusted the police reports. I trusted the evidence. I never imagined. Save it for your own investigation, Mr. Hayes. Judge Thompson snapped. You should have done your job better. Noah felt a wave of satisfaction, but also sadness. Yes, the truth was coming out. Yes, Lily Bennett was going to face justice. But there were still 25 innocent people in prison, 25 lives destroyed, 25 families torn apart. As the bailiffs dragged Lily toward the door, she suddenly stopped and turned to look at Noah. Her eyes were filled with hate. You think you've won, she spat. You have no idea how deep this goes. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Noah's blood ran cold. What did she mean by that? Before he could ask, another voice shouted from the back of the courtroom. Everyone freeze. Noah spun around. 3 men in police uniforms had entered the courtroom. But something was wrong. Their hands were on their guns, and they were looking directly at Noah. The lead officer, a big man with a scarred face, smiled coldly. Special Agent Peterson, you just made a very big mistake. Judge Thompson stood up from his bench, his face red with anger. What is the meaning of this? Who are you people? The lead officer with the scarred face ignored the judge completely. His eyes stayed locked on Noah. I'm Sergeant Dave Miller, and these are Officers Tom Jackson and Paul Rivera. We're here to arrest Special Agent Peterson for interfering with a police investigation. Noah's heart sank. This was exactly what Lily had warned him about. This went deeper than just one corrupt cop. You can't arrest an FBI agent in the middle of a court proceeding. Marcus, Noah's lawyer, shouted, This is insane. Sergeant Miller pulled out a piece of paper and waved it in the air. This is a warrant signed by Captain Frank Morrison of the Ohio State Police. Special Agent Peterson has been conducting an unauthorized investigation into our department. He's committed multiple counts of fraud, impersonation, and obstruction of justice. Noah felt the walls closing in. He knew this warrant was fake. It had to be. But in this moment, in this courtroom, with 3 armed officers advancing toward him, the truth didn't matter. That warrant is falsified, Noah said, keeping his voice steady even though his heart was pounding. I'm conducting a legitimate FBI investigation with full authorization from the Bureau. Prove it, Sergeant Miller said with a nasty smile. Show us your authorization papers. Show us the official investigation number. Show us your supervisor's contact information. Noah reached for his phone, but Officer Jackson moved forward quickly. Don't move. Keep your hands where we can see them. This was bad. Really bad. Noah's authorization papers were in his hotel room. His supervisor, Special Agent Sarah Martinez, was in Washington, D.C. for a conference. He could prove everything. But not right this second. And that's exactly what they were counting on. Judge Thompson banged his gavel. Everyone stop. This is still my courtroom, and I won't have it turned into a circus. Sergeant Miller, I just witnessed Officer Bennett commit perjury and evidence tampering. Your timing is extremely suspicious. With all due respect, Your Honor, Miller said, not sounding respectful at all. This doesn't concern you anymore. This is a police matter now. Step aside. The bailiffs in the courtroom looked confused. They didn't know who to listen to, the judge or the police officers. Noah could see the fear in their eyes. These were just regular security guards who worked in the courthouse. They weren't trained for something like this. Noah's mother stood up from her seat. Leave my son alone. He's telling the truth. He's one of the good guys. Ma'am. Sit down, Officer Rivera said, his hand still on his gun. Don't make this worse. Noah felt rage building inside him. They were threatening his mother now, but he had to stay calm. He had to think. Lily Bennett, still in handcuffs, was watching everything with a strange smile on her face. She knew this was going to happen. She probably signaled her friend somehow. Your Honor, Noah said loudly, I request that you contact FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. immediately. Call the main switchboard and ask for Special Agent Sarah Martinez in the Corruption Task Force Division. She'll confirm everything I've said." Sergeant Miller laughed. "Nice try, Peterson. Or should I say, whoever you really are, you probably have a friend ready to answer that call and pretend to be an FBI agent. We're not stupid." Judge Thompson looked torn. Noah could see the doubt creeping into the old man's eyes. What if Noah really was a fraud? What if this FBI badge was fake? What if this whole thing was an elaborate scheme to get out of drug charges? "I have a better idea," Marcus suddenly said. He pulled out his own phone. "I'm calling the FBI field office here in Ohio. They're just 30 minutes away. Let's have them come down here and sort this whole thing out." "Put the phone down," Sergeant Miller said, his voice turning dangerous. His hand moved closer to his gun. "Nobody's calling anybody until we take Peterson into custody." The tension in the courtroom was suffocating. Noah could see several people in the audience slowly moving toward the exits. They could sense something terrible was about to happen. Then Noah heard it, a sound that made his heart leap with hope. Sirens, multiple sirens, getting closer and closer. Sergeant Miller heard them too. His confident expression flickered. "What did you do?" he demanded, looking at Noah. Noah smiled for the first time since this nightmare started. "I didn't do anything, but I have a partner." The courtroom doors burst open. 6 people in dark blue jackets with bright yellow letters on the back, FBI, rushed in with their weapons drawn. Federal agents. Everyone freeze. Leading them was a woman with short black hair and fierce eyes. Special Agent Sarah Martinez, Noah's supervisor. She swept into the room like an avenging angel. "Agent Martinez," Noah said, relief flooding through him. Perfect timing. Sarah Martinez looked at the 3 police officers, then at the handcuffed Lily Bennett, then back at Noah. "Agent Peterson, are you all right?" "I'm fine now." She turned to Sergeant Miller and his men. "Drop your weapons. You're all under arrest for conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and corruption. You can't arrest us." Sergeant Miller shouted. "We're police officers." "Not anymore, you're not," Sarah said coldly. "We've been monitoring this situation for the past hour." Agent Peterson activated his emergency beacon when Officer Bennett made her threat. "We heard everything. We recorded everything. And we've got enough evidence to put all of you away for 20 years. The 3 officers looked at each other. For a moment, Noah thought they might actually try to shoot their way out. His muscles tensed, ready to dive for cover. But then Sergeant Miller's shoulders slumped. He slowly raised his hands. "This isn't over," he muttered. Captain Morrison is being arrested as we speak," Sarah interrupted, "along with 4 other officers in your precinct. We've been building this case for months, and you people just gift-wrapped it for us." As FBI agents moved to arrest the corrupt officers, Noah finally allowed himself to breathe. It was over. Or at least, this part was over. Judge Thompson collapsed into his chair, looking like he'd aged 10 years in the past hour. "In 40 years on the bench, I've never seen anything like this." But Noah wasn't celebrating yet, because as they dragged Sergeant Miller past him, the corrupt cop leaned in close and whispered something that made Noah's blood freeze. "You got us, but you didn't get him. The boss knows who you are now, and he's coming for you." 3 hours later, Noah sat in a secure conference room at the FBI field office in Columbus, Ohio. The room had no windows, just gray walls and a long table with too many empty coffee cups scattered across it. Special Agent Sarah Martinez paced back and forth like a caged tiger. "The boss," she muttered for the 10th time. Miller mentioned the boss and then refused to say another word. Not even his lawyer can get him to talk. Noah rubbed his tired eyes. He's scared. They're all scared. We arrested 7 corrupt officers today, and every single one of them went silent the moment we mentioned this boss person. Across the table sat Agent Danny Foster, a tech expert with messy red hair and thick glasses. He'd been typing furiously on his laptop for the past hour. "I've gone through every email, every text message, and every phone call from these officers. They're careful, really careful. They never use names. It's always he wants this or he said to do that. They communicate through burner phones that get destroyed after each use. Sarah slammed her hand on the table, making everyone jump. Someone is running a massive corruption operation in the Ohio Police Department, and we can't figure out who it is? That's unacceptable. Noah's mother had been allowed to stay at the field office for safety reasons. She sat in a waiting room down the hall with 2 agents guarding her. Noah hated that she was caught up in this mess. She'd only come support her son in court, and now her life might be in danger too. What about Lily Bennett? Noah asked, has she said anything useful? Danny shook his head. She lawyered up immediately, but before her attorney arrived, she did say something weird to one of the agents. She said, "You don't understand what he's capable of. He has people everywhere, even where you least expect it." "People everywhere," Sarah repeated. She stopped pacing and looked at Noah. What if the boss isn't just running the police department? What if he has people in other places too? A chill ran down Noah's spine. You mean like the courthouse? The prosecutor's office? Or even here? Danny said quietly. The room went silent. That was a terrifying thought. What if someone in the FBI was working for the boss? What if they just told their enemy everything? Sarah pulled out her phone. "I'm calling Director James Chan in Washington. This is bigger than we thought. We need..." The lights went out. Complete darkness swallowed the room. Noah jumped to his feet, his hand instinctively reaching for his gun. "Emergency backup should kick in," Danny whispered. "Any second now." But the backup lights didn't come on. The entire building was dark and silent. Too silent. The constant hum of computers and air conditioning was gone. "This isn't a normal power outage," Sarah said in the darkness. "Someone cut the main and backup power simultaneously. That's nearly impossible unless..." An explosion rocked the building. Not close enough to hurt them, but close enough to shake the walls and knock coffee cups off the table. Noah heard glass shattering somewhere down the hall. "They're here," Noah said, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through his veins. "The boss sent people to silence us." Sarah's voice cut through the darkness like a blade. "Danny, get to the server room and copy everything onto a portable drive. If we're going down, we're taking this evidence with us. Noah, come with me. We need to get your mother out of here." They felt their way to the door. Noah's eyes were starting to adjust to the darkness, but it was still hard to see anything. He could hear footsteps running through the hallways. Some were probably FBI agents responding to the explosion, but others might be attackers. Another explosion, closer this time. Someone screamed. Noah and Sarah ran down the hallway toward the waiting room where his mother was. Noah's heart pounded in his ears. Please let her be okay. Please let her be okay. They rounded a corner and nearly collided with 2 FBI agents, the same ones who were supposed to be guarding Noah's mother. But they weren't guarding anyone anymore. They were lying on the floor, unconscious or worse. "Mom!" Noah shouted, running toward the waiting room. The door was open. The room was empty. She was gone. Noah felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. He couldn't breathe. "No. No, no, no." Sarah grabbed his shoulder. "Noah, we'll find her. I promise we'll..." A phone rang. Not their phones. A phone that was sitting on one of the chairs in the waiting room. Someone had left it there deliberately. Sarah picked it up carefully, like it might explode. She put on speaker. A man's voice came through, smooth and cold as ice. "Hello, Agent Peterson. We finally meet, even if it's not face to face." "Who are you?" Noah demanded. "Where's my mother?" "Your mother is safe. For now. She's a guest in one of my facilities. Whether she stays safe depends entirely on you." "The boss," Sarah said. "You're the boss." The man chuckled. "Some people call me that. I prefer to think of myself as a businessman who ensures certain operations run smoothly. You've been causing me significant problems, Agent Peterson." Noah's hands were shaking with rage. "If you hurt her, I swear I'll..." "You'll what? Arrest me? You don't even know who I am. You don't know where I am. And you certainly don't know where your mother is." The voice paused. "But I'm not unreasonable. I'm willing to make a trade." "What kind of trade?" Sarah asked, her voice suspicious. It's simple. Agent Peterson destroys all the evidence he's collected against my organization. Every recording, every document, every file. He announces publicly that his investigation was based on false information and that all the officers he arrested today are innocent. He resigns from the FBI in disgrace. And in return, his mother goes home safely. Noah felt sick. Everything they'd worked for, all the evidence, all the proof of corruption, gone. And 25 innocent people would stay in prison. And if I refuse? Noah asked, though he already knew the answer. The voice turned colder than ice. Then your mother disappears forever. And trust me, Agent Peterson, I have ways of making people disappear that would horrify you. You have 24 hours to decide. The line went dead. Noah stared at the dead phone in Sarah's hand. His mind was racing, his heart breaking. His mother, the woman who raised him alone, who worked 3 jobs to put him through college, who cried with joy when he joined the FBI, was in the hands of a monster. We're not destroying that evidence, Sarah said firmly. There has to be another way. There's no other way. Noah shouted, surprising himself with his anger. You heard him. 24 hours or my mother dies. Sarah grabbed both his shoulders and looked him straight in the eye. Noah, listen to me. If we give him what he wants, he'll kill her anyway. Men like the boss don't leave witnesses. He's lying to you. Deep down, Noah knew she was right. But the terrified son inside him didn't care about logic. He just wanted his mother back. Danny came running down the hallway, clutching a hard drive against his chest. I got everything. All the evidence is... He stopped when he saw their faces. What happened? They took Noah's mother, Sarah said. The boss wants us to destroy all evidence in exchange for her life. Danny's face went pale. Oh no. Noah, I'm so sorry. Emergency lights finally flickered on throughout the building, bathing everything in an eerie red glow. FBI agents were shouting to each other, checking rooms, securing the perimeter. The building had been breached, and nobody knew how many attackers might still be inside. Noah's phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. He opened it with shaking hands. It was a photo of his mother. She was tied to a chair in what looked like a warehouse. Her eyes were wide with fear, but she was alive. Below the photo were 3 words. Clock is ticking. Something inside Noah snapped. Not in a breaking way, in a focusing way. He'd spent months investigating corruption, gathering evidence, playing it safe. But this wasn't about the investigation anymore. This was about family. I know what to do, Noah said quietly. Sarah frowned. Noah, whatever you're thinking. We're going to give him exactly what he wants, Noah interrupted. I'm going to go on TV, destroy my reputation, and burn all the evidence. What? No, Danny protested. Those innocent people in prison. I said I'm going to give him what he wants, Noah repeated, a small smile forming on his face. I didn't say I was going to actually do it. Understanding dawned on Sarah's face. A trap? You're going to set a trap. The boss thinks he's won, Noah explained, his mind working fast. He thinks I'm desperate enough to do anything to save my mother. And he's right. I am desperate. But I'm also an FBI agent who's really good at his job. Sarah nodded slowly. He'll want to watch. A man like that, with that much ego, he'll want to see you destroy yourself. Exactly. And when he comes to watch, we'll be ready. For the next 12 hours, Noah and his team worked frantically. They set up everything perfectly, like actors preparing for the most important performance of their lives. At 6 p.m. the next evening, every major news station in Ohio was gathered at the FBI field office. Noah stood behind a podium, looking defeated and broken. He'd practiced that look in the mirror for an hour. The cameras started rolling. My name is Special Agent Noah Peterson, he began, his voice heavy with false shame. I'm here to make a confession. The investigation I've been conducting into the Ohio Police Department was based on false information. I made terrible mistakes. The officers I accuse of corruption are innocent, and I've ruined their lives. Behind the cameras, Sarah stood with Danny and 50 other FBI agents, all in plain clothes, all watching the crowd carefully. The boss was here somewhere. He had to be. Noah continued his fake confession, each word tasting like poison. I fabricated evidence. I lied to my superiors. And worst of all, I destroyed the lives of good police officers who were just doing their jobs. I'm resigning from the FBI, effective immediately. He reached into his jacket and pulled out his FBI badge, the same badge that had shocked the courtroom just yesterday. He placed it on the podium. I'm sorry to everyone I've hurt. I'm sorry to the officers. I'm sorry to the FBI. And I'm sorry to the people of Ohio for abusing the trust you place in me. The reporters erupted with questions, but Noah walked away from the podium without answering any of them. He walked through a side door into a private room, his heart hammering in his chest. He waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Then his phone rang. The same unknown number. Very convincing performance, Agent Peterson. The boss said, I almost believed you were sincere. Where's my mother? Noah demanded. Patience. First, I need to see you destroy the evidence. All of it. I want video proof that every file has been deleted, every document burned. Fine. I'll do it right now. But I want to see my mother first. Put her on the phone. There was a pause. Then his mother's voice. Noah? Baby, don't do this. Don't let them win because of me. Mom, it's okay. I'm going to get you out of there. The boss came back on the line. Touching. Now destroy the evidence. I'll be watching. The line went dead, but this time, Noah was smiling. Did you get it? He asked the room. Danny looked up from his computer, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. I got it. The phone call was routed through 3 different towers, but I traced it. The signal came from an old industrial complex on the east side of town, Morrison Manufacturing. And Noah, guess who used to own that complex? Who? Sarah asked. Danny pulled up a photo on his screen. It showed a stern-looking man in an expensive suit, standing next to a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Judge Richard Thompson, the same judge who presided over your trial. Noah felt like he'd been struck by lightning. The judge, the man who'd seemed so angry at the corruption, so determined to find justice. He was the boss all along. Let's go get my mother, Noah said, his voice hard as steel. And let's end this. 30 minutes later, Noah sat in an FBI van 2 blocks away from Morrison Manufacturing. Through the window, he could see the old, crumbling factory. Broken windows stared back at him like empty eyes. This was where his mother was being held. Sarah checked her weapon one more time. We have 20 agents surrounding the building. Snipers on the roofs. SWAT team ready to breach. But Noah, you need to stay in this van. Absolutely not, Noah said firmly. That's my mother in there. And that's exactly why you should stay here. You're too emotionally involved. You might make a mistake. Noah looked her dead in the eye. Sarah, I'm going in. You can't stop me. She sighed. She knew he was right. Fine, but you follow my lead. Understand? They moved through the darkness like shadows. The industrial complex was massive. 5 buildings connected by walkways and tunnels. Judge Thompson could be hiding anywhere. Danny's voice crackled through their earpieces. I'm picking up heat signatures in Building 3, 2nd floor. I count 6 people. One of them is sitting in a chair, probably Noah's mother. The others are standing around her. Any sign of Thompson? Sarah whispered. Negative. He might be in a different building, watching through cameras. They approached Building 3 carefully. 2 guards stood outside, both wearing police uniforms. More corrupt cops working for the boss. Sarah made a hand signal. 2 FBI snipers took the shot simultaneously. The guards dropped before they could make a sound. The team moved forward. Inside, the building smelled like rust and old oil. Water dripped somewhere in the darkness. Noah's heart was pounding so hard he could hear it in his ears. They climbed the stairs silently. 2nd floor. Noah could see light coming from under a door at the end of the hallway. Sarah positioned agents on both sides of the door. She counted down with her fingers. 3, 2, 1. They burst through the door that Noah's mother was there, tied to a chair, just like in the photo. 4 men in masks surrounded her, all holding guns. They spun around in surprise. FBI, drop your weapons. For a frozen moment, nobody moved. Then everything happened at once. The masked men raised their guns. FBI agents fired. 2 of the masked men went down immediately. The other 2 dug behind old machinery, returning fire. Bullets flew everywhere. Noah ducked behind a metal support beam, his heart racing. He could see his mother struggling against the ropes, terror in her eyes. Sarah moved like lightning, flanking one of the shooters and taking him down with 2 precise shots. The last shooter realized he was surrounded and dropped his weapon, raising his hands. Clear, Sarah shouted. Noah ran to his mother, pulling out a knife and cutting through the ropes. Mom, are you hurt? She collapsed into his arms, sobbing. Noah, oh, thank God. I was so scared. It's okay. You're safe now. I've got you. But even as he held her, something felt wrong. This had been too easy. Where was Judge Thompson? Danny's panicked voice came through the earpiece. Guys, we have a problem. I'm detecting a timer in that room. There's a bomb. Noah's blood turned to ice. He spun around, scanning the room frantically. There, in the corner, under his mother's chair, a metal box with a digital display counting down. 247, 246, 245. Everybody out. Now! Sarah screamed. Agents started running for the door, but Noah's mother couldn't walk. Her legs had gone numb from being tied up for so long. Noah scooped her up in his arms and ran. They pounded down the stairs. 2 minutes left. The building was huge. Could they make it out in time? 1:31:29, 1:28. Noah's lungs burned. His arms ached from carrying his mother, but he didn't stop. Couldn't stop. They burst out of the building with 40 seconds to spare. Noah kept running, getting as far away as possible. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. The explosion lit up the night sky like a miniature sun. The blast wave knocked Noah and his mother to the ground. Debris rained down around them. The entire second floor of Building 3 was gone. Noah covered his mother with his body until the debris stopped falling. Then he looked back at the burning building, breathing hard. He tried to kill us all, Sarah said, standing up and brushing off dust. Judge Thompson tried to destroy all the evidence and everyone who knew about him. But he failed, Danny said through the earpiece. I've got good news. While you were doing the rescue, I traced the bomb's detonation signal. It came from Building 5. Judge Thompson is there right now. Noah gently helped his mother to her feet. Mom, stay here with these agents. I'll be right back. Noah, no. I have to finish this. He ran toward Building 5 with Sarah and 10 other agents. They kicked down the door and flooded inside. Judge Thompson stood in what looked like an old office, watching multiple computer screens, showing news coverage of Noah's fake confession. He turned slowly when they entered, a small smile on his wrinkled face. Agent Peterson, I must say I'm impressed you survived. It's over, Thompson, Noah said, pointing his gun at the corrupt judge. You're under arrest for kidnapping, attempted murder, conspiracy, and running a criminal organization. Thompson laughed, actually laughed. Is it over? Do you really think I'm the only one? I have judges, police chiefs, prosecutors, and politicians in my pocket across 3 states. Even if you arrest me, the system continues. Maybe, Sarah said, stepping forward with handcuffs, but it continues without you. And every person you just mentioned, we recorded this conversation. They're all being arrested right now. The smile vanished from Thompson's face. You talk too much, Noah said. That's what criminals always do. They can't help bragging. As Sarah handcuffed the former judge, Noah felt a weight lift from his shoulders. It wasn't completely over. There would be trials, investigations, more corruption to uncover. But tonight, they'd won. 25 innocent people would be freed from prison. Lily Bennett and her crew of corrupt cops would face justice. And Judge Richard Thompson, the boss himself, would spend the rest of his life behind bars. Noah walked outside where his mother waited. She hugged him tight, crying happy tears this time. I'm so proud of you, baby, she whispered. Noah hugged her back, watching the sunrise break over the Ohio skyline. After everything, the false arrest, the fake trial, the kidnapping, the explosions, justice had finally won. Sometimes the system failed. Sometimes bad people wore badges and robes. But as long as there were people willing to fight for what was right, hope survived. And that was enough.